Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our board meeting of Monday, November the 8th. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask for an approval of the agenda, please.
So moved.
I have a motion to approve the agenda. Do I have a second? Seconded by Ms. Wimberly. Any discussion? All in favor? 6-0. Okay, I would like to, first of all, I'd like to once again welcome everyone to our board meeting, ones who are joining us on the premises, as well as ones that are joining us virtually. And I'd like to just make a quick comment before we move on to our reflection and our Pledge of Allegiance. Just wanted to give an update. Board members, I don't know if you received in your emails today, if you saw the email that was received from South Carolina School Board Association. We had a meeting on Friday, a very lengthy meeting. We were on Zoom for probably about 2 to 2.5 hours, having a discussion about NSBA and the things that have been going on with NSBA and how things have been being handled, and how much we were in disagreement with the way things were going. We voted to pull out of NSBA. So South Carolina School Board Association will be pulling out of NSBA in lieu of some of the actions that they've been taking, and taking a stand basically to say that we do not stand with them, we do not approve some of the things they've said and some of the actions that they've taken, and that they were taken single-handedly and not by consulting the rest of their members. So just wanted to make sure that attention was brought to that email and everybody had a chance to read it. If you have not, please make sure that you do so. And I am going to turn over our moment of reflection to Mr. Farnsworth.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Madam Chair. Certainly, as we get into November and this season of Thanksgiving and the end of the year and all that fun stuff, and everybody starts to put some thought around giving thanks. And so certainly thanks to everybody in the district. Thank you to our community. Thank you to everybody that makes us what we are. But of course, later this week, there is a special group of folks. I'm humbled, I'm honored to have served our country in the Navy, and I would also like to give thanks, of course, to the folks that are still serving today. So Veterans Day, still serving today, as well as those who have served. So coming up later this week. So certainly to all of those folks in our armed forces. Right now, if you think about it, I think about this often, this second, there are tens of thousands of airmen, guardsmen, midshipmen, Navy folks, Army folks, Air Force, airmen all over the world defending our right to be here in this room to meet as a board right now, this very second. And so I just never want us to forget the sacrifice that they go through every single day. And I'm just very appreciative, and I give thanks. So if you don't mind, just join me in a moment of reflection and a moment of silence as we think about all of the thanks that we can give. Thank you. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Farnsworth. And we're going to move on to our school highlights with Ms. Rayner.
Thank you, Chairman Hughes, members of the board, Mr. Pye. And if I may, before we get into our wonderful highlights, I hope that as our attendees this evening came into the meeting, you had an opportunity to view the wonderful performances by Rollins School of the Arts, their chorus, performing several patriotic songs. This is going to be a part of their Veterans Day celebration at Rollins, and this is typical of the activities that will be taking place in all of our schools on Veterans Day. That does include members of our community who are veterans. So just thank you to Rollins for sharing that with us.
Many people weren't here, and I didn't pay a piece of attention to it. I saw it up there. I think maybe after what Mr. Farnsworth led off with and what you just said, it would be very appropriate for us to celebrate our veterans even tonight,
Yes, sir.
every night.
Thank you.
I thought you were going to do during highlights was I was going to do it. And then, so I thought you were going to do it, and then Mr. Farnsworth did what he did. And I'm like, that's perfect. Let's do it as soon as he finished. I wanted to do it. And she said, oh, no, Miss Rayner has it. Well, Miss Rayner was passing it off, and we can't have that. We got to move back.
Well, I thought you were going to ask me to sing, and you don't want that.
But all our schools go all out, I tell you. Particularly this is the middle school, but particularly the elementary schools, it's just all out. They have parades, there's a lot of veterans, 50, 75 veterans visit the school and talk and share things, their experiences with the kids. It's a very humbling experience.
It is. Thank you. And that certainly, in another way, is a very fitting lead-in to our first recognition this evening, and that is to recognize 4 of our schools who are recipients of the Distinguished Arts Program Grant that is presented by the State Department of Education. This year, we have our 4 schools receiving this grant are Austin Middle, Ashley Ridge High School, Fort Dorchester High School, and Somerville High School. The purpose of this state grant program is to assist schools in developing and implementing arts initiatives that support quality arts education for our children. These grants are awarded through a rigorous process by which fine arts departments conduct a formal assessment, set a 3-year strategic plan, and meet with an advisory board of teachers, constituents, and stakeholders. This year, our 4 schools are going to receive a total of $61,600 that will go to their classrooms and the classrooms at their schools to enhance art instruction. And that's why we have award-winning arts programs in our school district. So at this time, I would like to invite, and at the school level, it's always a group of our teachers, fine arts teachers, that work very hard to create these grants and these programs. And so they have a representative from these schools that are here with us. So as I call your name, if you'll come up and join me. Austin Middle School, Adam Weiner, and their program is Setting the Stage 2.0. Adam? And if you'll just stand at the front, I'll get a picture in just a minute. Thank you. Next, Ashley Ridge High School, Art Makes the World Go Round, Preparing Graduates for the Future, Andre Raphael. Fort Dorchester High School, Creating the Artist, Kevin Morrissey. And finally, Somerville High School, Elevating the Creative Process, Tony Olson. And our children are certainly the beneficiaries of the hard work of these teachers.
Move this way, in the center. You can stand in front of us, it's okay.
You're very tall, but we're very wide.
Our district certainly, as we spoke at the last board meeting about community involvement and collaboration that benefits our schools so often and in so many ways. Tonight, we have the pleasure of welcoming our executive director of the Dorchester 2 Educational Foundation, Ralph Hayes. Ralph, if you will come up, and as he's coming up, he is going to welcome a group that has become quite the creators of a popular community event, the Somerville Italian Feast that took place not long ago that I know was enjoyed by many, many community members. And Ralph's going to share how it's going to benefit Dorchester District 2.
Thank you, Ms. Rayner. Chair Hughes, Superintendent Pye, members of the board, thank you for letting us be presented tonight. I took this role just about 2 months ago after serving Charleston County School District for the last 18 years. And one of the reasons that I took this role is because I certainly believe it allows me to connect the dots between resources and teachers and students. When I took this role, 2 weeks after that, we had a huge event upcoming with some very generous people in the Somerville Italian Feast. This has been a very beneficial partnership for Dorchester District 2. Over the past 5 years, these wonderful people who established this group have donated more than $41,000 to Dorchester 2 schools. Those funds have gone directly to student projects to allow them to have innovative and creative things that they may otherwise not be afforded the opportunity to do so. And I'll just say it's absolutely humbling to work with all of these individuals. I was fortunate enough to get to know them personally and to see them in action. And the event that they host in downtown Somerville is truly a family event. They all work on the event literally for an entire year, for planning, for budgeting, for permits, and getting everything together. And in all the events that I've been involved with in my years working in education, for the volume of turnout that they had, it was absolutely amazing how efficient it was, how well executed it was. And again, really the fact that it benefits our students. And before I bring them up, I do want to say they actually were presented with a chance to move the festival to a different area and they were steadfast in saying the beneficiary of the funds from this program go to Dorchester 2 students, and we want to keep that partnership alive. So we're just very thankful for their generosity in that. And I'd love to introduce Mr. Jay Lombardo. He's the director of the event and is involved in the entire process.
Well, it's not a one-person job. So I'd like to introduce and bring up Mr. Al Pashao, board president, Mr. Russell, our vice president, and Mr. Cambershine versus my wife, Danielle. But, thank you, Ralph. Over the last few years, as Ralph said, we've been putting together the Pack Festival. The idea was to help the students in the district. Well, I'm sorry. The whole premise was to benefit through this, to help with the programs in the district. So this year was a challenge because of last year we lost because of the COVID. We also lost a number of our board members. And basically, it's really just, we're missing one person, but that's about it. So you see it takes a lot. So this year, we held it on the 26th of September. We estimated that we had anywhere from 10 to 12,000 people come through in a one-day period, from 11 o'clock until 6 o'clock. And we were busy. We ran out of food, and it was just a tremendous amount. So anyways, what I'd like to do with you gentlemen is present Dorchester District 2 Educational Foundation with a check for $15,000.
That's how we get that big check.
I didn't plan to do that tomorrow, but I think
Thank you, Ms. Rayner. Boy, I tell you what, talk about action-packed. That was unbelievable. So thank you very much. Okay, next on our agenda, board members, we have the public comments on agenda items, and we have no public comments on agenda items. So we're going to move on to the approval of the minutes. In your packets, you should have received the regular meeting of October 25th, 2021. I need a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Guthrie. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Farnsworth. Any discussion? All in favor? 6-0. Next on the agenda is our superintendent's report, the state of the district. Mr. Pye.
Well, I have several things. I hope I can get them all out. There are a lot of individual things. First of all, I want to talk about some of the things that happened in the last week or two. The Coastal Carolina Fair came, and, we were very involved with our students in previous years with the pandemic. The Exchange Club decided not to try to bring that on at this time. However, they did have many other events that involved our staff and students, particularly those at Ashton Ridge High School, with the petting zoo and the look at the animals and that the agricultural part, which they've always had. That was manned by our students and by our teachers at Ashton Ridge. So I'm very proud of them for making that show on behalf of the district for this year. Also, speaking of things happening in the schools, we had our marketing task force about opening the print shop as another avenue to help kids enter the workforce, and it's got a much fancier name, but just for the bottom line, it will teach kids to do the things that are involved in a print shop and things related to that. That's at Fort Dorchester High School. And then we have at Somerville High School, we have lots of things happening there between their Shack Booster Club, SMEG, the community stadium group, and the district are still working in our partnership, doing lots of things and talking a little bit about various issues. One of the things we're talking about, of course, is, I mentioned last time, the gym. We're trying to see if we can get prices on what that will cost, and I'll be bringing that back to the board if it's feasible for us to have additional office space for our people and not utilize, and we can't afford to do the art buildings. They need a lot of help, those two buildings out back in the middle. They used to be maintenance sheds, and the gym. The gym is much more historically involved, and I think it's a presence that the people of Somerville, town of Somerville that went to school there would like to see preserved and kept. So we'd like to do our focus on that. The back, SMEG will work with us on there'll be the locker room for the boys. The locker room on the side needs to go. It's pitiful. And it was once the dance room for Rollins School of the Arts, dance during the daytime, locker room at night. If that tells you what we have here, really would probably make a very good storage shed. But so we'll be glad to get rid of that. It's just not good. And then convert that building. Need a lot of structural type of things. The ceiling, the roof and all is in very good shape. So we think cost-wise, it won't cost any more to do that building, which gives us a lot more square footage than the two other buildings. And and we would like to remove those two buildings, opening up that entire courtyard. So if we had any issues with fire or whatever, it's easy to get back there. But we would like to extend some of the Elementary's playground, I mentioned this last time, to take it off of Main Street and have all their activity on the back there. And I think that if they ever did do anything with that back building, that could be a possibility. They could move into that area and change out and do the recess field on the other side if they're needing space to put a building. So that it's just looking long term, it seems like the right thing to do to finish that up. And I think, and Smeg will be presenting a little bit later. I think Ms. Wimberly will be, or Ms. Robinson, and that's her committee. I get all these committees mixed up. You can present if you'd like to. I'm sure we'll entertain you. We'll pretend we understand what you're saying about sex. Okay. Then the Low Country Virtual Academy, we get lots of calls about that. It is still going very strong. We're pleased with it. We will be making some changes in this for next year. Again, we're not doing away with virtual. We're just expanding what we're doing so our teachers can get back focused on the day-to-day, everyday, face-to-face with the students. And that's what we feel we're all here for. And if we're going to ever resemble anything according to normal, that would be a great step towards there. However, the future being so digital, we have to keep our eye on that and give our students equal opportunities to go either way that they would like to go. So that's still going to be up and strong, but still exploring some options with business partners to maybe to help us out with that, to take the pressure off of the schools, trying to offer two separate programs. And then Ms. Wimberly will catch us up on some happenings with the Educational Foundation, one we just heard about. And then I want to move over to coming events. This Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. at Stadium Park, we will be having a band celebration. It's a big band event. It was postponed from Saturday because it was terrible weather, and that was a good thing to do. So it'll be Wednesday night. Our three bands will be presenting to their parents, their fans, and the student bodies of the three schools. And it's free and it's open to the public, and we recommend everybody come out for a great time to see the quality that our bands possess, how hard they've worked, and to enjoy some good music. And I've been told there will be a treat which the three bands will do something together. And that should be quite impressive with 385 people out there, and it'll blow the lid off of things. Then, of course, we have Veterans Day this Thursday, and you saw what Rollins has planned. Again, I can't say enough. All schools participate. That's probably the biggest celebration of the year, I think, in all my years here. It's got bigger and grander every year. The schools just go all out. red, white, and blue. I mean, every school has some different take on it, and they change it around often. So if any of you are out and about and want to, we're not, trying to encourage a lot of visitors, but it is something to see. And particularly, I imagine most of them have something that's outdoors that the weather allows. And of course, that does not prohibit us from taking it all in. But board members, I definitely hope you can stop by just any school, and I think you'll be in for a treat. And if you want to do 2 or 3, you can see how awesome each individual school is with how they present. And it's really a tribute to the veterans. It's not just a show. Children are really given some good historical information about what it means to be a veteran and what veterans mean to us. And we hope this new generation, as they grow older, will appreciate the sacrifices that so many people, many generations before them, that's made the country what it is, and we want them to make sure they're the keepers of it, and they understand that it's very important that we have them understanding where we came from and where we're going. Another one is Day of Caring. That's on November 17th, 18th, and 19th by United Way. And they have projects at all the schools, and theirs are really good projects. And usually most of the schools through their PTA or School Improvement Council or with the district office involved, we try to be a support team, and maybe a grander project can be done with the help of a large number of employees who are volunteering all over the Trident region. Okay, so that leaves me with but we're still getting, if you ask me what was the most frequently asked question, and we've had lots of those, and it was about, do we wear a mask or do we not wear a mask, and why do we wear a mask and why we don't? I would probably say that was the most frequently asked question, and those questions have really dropped off. But I would say it's been replaced with, what determines what we do, and when and how? That seems to be the big question. So I'm telling everyone out there, and I'm going to ask Pat and them to make sure this is on the website. It is, but let's make it more concise. That we follow the local area. We have our own data, and we follow the medical advice that we receive, and that's basically decisions we've been making since July of 2020. We recently had the big decision whether to do a mask mandate or not, and that was decided against. Well, every week the results of the community numbers and the district's numbers are greatly improving. Of course, when you read the paper and hear the news, they keep talking about new strands and new things happening, and the bottom's going to fall out around the Christmas break. So, last year that is indeed what happened. But this time last year we had extremely high numbers too. Maybe it didn't get into November, I don't think, but it's really looking very, very promising and good. And the staff has been very busy working with the principals to make sure that we progress smoothly within that without knee-jerking. We don't want to start something that we have to turn around and change the next week. But we can't make decisions based on 1 week to the next week. You have to have data. And data that's a trend or a pattern. And I think now it's been correct me, Ms. Canara and Amanda, 10 weeks now. The numbers have been dropping 8 weeks. 8 straight weeks the numbers in the community have dropped. But that's 8's the most we ever had when it went down the last time. So that's a pretty good number. So we're watching that very closely. We have a low, a medium, and a high, which gives our area a medium. To get to low, we need one area to get a little bit lower. And if it drops this week as much as it dropped last week, we may be there. Certainly, over the next 2 weeks, it's very promising, and that would then align the stars up, provided our numbers stay the same. Our numbers, Mr. Farnsworth, I remember you asking when we came out of virtual, when you asked us about the mitigations we were trying. What are we going to do if we had 7,000 when we took the 7 days. Now, what's going to keep us from, and now we have 500 and something, but what's going to keep us from going to 1,000, 1,500, 2,000? Well, I'm able to report that We did not do that, and we might have a little bump the first week or second week, but it has gone significantly down to way less than 100. That's quarantine and people with COVID that are out for that. Less than 100, matter of fact, like 74 to be exact. We have large numbers of schools that are reporting 0. Now, we do, if you have one case, and there was a situation that where we had a situation with an intruder in one of our schools, you probably heard about it, where we had the lockdown. Well, that person, because they got in a room, something happened, somebody got COVID in that classroom, so the whole classroom had to be quarantined. Did I say that correctly? So that was that. If not, that school would be 0. And that would be 15 less people than 74. Now we're down to 59. So we watch numbers like that religiously. And it has to be all those things, and we're very much in contact with our medical folks, and they're advising us. You know, just a few weeks ago, well, maybe a month ago, 6 weeks ago, it was being reported that all the emergency rooms were crowded and packed and no place to put people. Well, that has subsided tremendously. They do not give me reports, but occasionally we have someone affiliated with the hospitals to let us know that the numbers have dropped drastically. It's still an issue. This thing has not gone away. We have to be very mindful of that. We have to be mindful that there's a lot of fear among our students, among our parents, and among our staff. And we want to be prudent in that when we make decisions, that we're making the best interest of everyone. We can't guarantee it's going to be perfect either way, but we do feel we're on the right road, and wanted you to know that that's the most asked question, and I hope that I answered that fairly enough to say, if it continues like that, folks, we're in for a good time. I cannot wait to get back to some kind of normalcy, and like we had hoped to do early in the year, and got this strand took away from us, and we just couldn't bring it back. So thank you for giving me that time. I didn't mean to get so detailed, but felt like I owed you that
Can I just say, I looked this morning, and there were only, if I'm not mistaken, 2 teachers in the whole staff.
2 staff. That could be bus drivers. That could be anybody.
That
That's 2
was
staff out of
wonderful
3,800.
news. Yeah. That was great.
And how many students was it? 3? No, students that have the COVID. 11. So we have 13 there, and the other 62 or 61 are quarantined. So I'm feeling real good about that. Those numbers have dropped. Last week it was 140, I believe it was. It was like cut in half in 1 week. This is probably one of the better weeks we've had. And then locally, I watch the papers. I know y'all do too, and they report the cases. And every time we get down to 4 and 5, I get so excited, and it's showing in our numbers. And then we see, like last week, one day last week, it hit the 17 or something in Dorchester County. And I'm like, when is this not going to stop? But we're watching it very closely to see how it's affecting us in our district. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pye. More great news. I like this board meeting already. So, thank you very much. Next on our agenda, board members, is the financial report. Ms. Tina.
Hey, good evening, Madam Chair, board members, and Mr. Pye. Speaking of good news, I wanted to report out to you that our auditors came last week, L.A. Davis LLC, for a board workshop that y'all had last week. And they came and reported on our financial statements for the year ended June 30th of 2021. Typically, they report out because we do the workshop on the same day as the board meeting, but since we're a week off, I get to present the highlights, so I'm excited to do that tonight. One of the things that I thought was interesting that they pointed out that I haven't heard them say before is they wanted to make sure that y'all knew that they work for the board. So they come and work with us in the finance office, and they look at zillions of transactions, but they work for y'all. So if they were to see anything odd, errors, misstatements, anything materially incorrect, they would come to y'all. So I was happy that they reported out to y'all that they didn't have anything to report to y'all. So that was great. We were very excited about that. And that's all due to the watchful eyes of the principals, the financial secretaries, the department directors. Everyone just takes it so seriously in our financial team, in our finance office. So they gave us an unmodified opinion on our financial statements, and that is the best opinion that you can get with the highest level of assurance. So we're very proud of that. We take great pride in working really hard to oversee all the money that the taxpayers entrust us to. I know while I've been here and, excuse me, while Allison was here, she laid a great foundation for us, and we've always gotten the best opinion, so we're really proud of that. Last year, we accounted for $312 million across all of our funds. So we really take a lot of effort to oversee all of those dollars. So thank you to everyone. It was a great team effort. Some things that I wanted to point out for some of our main funds, like our main operating fund is the general fund. Due to our unusual year last year when we had our hybrid schedules and we were closed, we were able to save money in electricity and supplies, in our substitute teacher budgets. So all of those savings allowed our fund balance to grow by $8.9 million. So we are at a total of $41.6 million. So that is approximately 17% of our operating budget for the new year. So, which is a good thing because the state recommends that you have, well, they require that you have at least 8.33%, which is 1 month's worth of expenditures. So we have a little over 2 months, so that is great. One of the positive things that us having a healthy fund balance, how that helps us is in many areas, but one thing that I wanted to point out was that while we were awarded some CARES money and some coronavirus money last year, we had to spend those funds before we were reimbursed. So because we had that healthy fund balance, we were able to do that and then receive the monies back. Also, in our federal grants, it works in the same manner. So we had $29 million worth of federal grants last year. We also had $7.6 million of state grants. Another set of funds that we had, just want to report out on, is our debt service fund, which had an ending balance of $351.9 million. And mainly that takes care of our buildings and our building programs. So again, just want to thank everyone. It's a great responsibility, and we take great pride in bringing y'all a good report. So if y'all have any questions of me, or if there's anything else you want me to report about.
Any questions for Tina?
No, just some comments. I just want to say to Tina and your team how proud I am of the audit result for this year. A lot of folks, of course, don't understand the work that our finance department has to put in and the weeks and months of preparation and going line by line. I think at this point we're probably over 30,000 line items.
We have 30,000 accounts, yes, sir.
Yeah, so 30,000 plus accounts in our district, and to try and manage that is a Herculean task. And so from an audit perspective, just really proud. And I would just point out, because I think there are still folks, unfortunately, in the community today that don't understand. They don't realize we hear about transparency a lot, and they don't realize that these audits happen. They're required. They're required to happen every single year. So of course we have a completely third-party, neutral, outside auditor that does that for us, as well as we instituted the policy a few years ago that we put out for bid, and we rotate, of course, that auditing firm, so there's no chance of anything really kind of being missed. So again, an unmodified opinion is unbelievable for $300 million plus of a budget. And again, I just think that's a testament to your team. I would encourage folks, again, if that word for some reason pops up in somebody's mind and there is a concern about transparency, because again, we tend to hear it a lot, I would urge folks to please reach out. And I think, Ms. Rayner, I think our audit results and that sort of information is on the website. Yeah, so all that information is on the website. Please reach out to either us or the financial department. Everything we have is an open book, and we have no problem showing anything in our books for any of those 30,000 plus account. So
You
just
are
want to say
absolutely
thank you
right.
guys again.
You're welcome, thank you. And it's good reading, so the audit report is out there, you can read it.
Any other questions or comments?
Just thank you.
Thank y'all.
Yes, thank
y'all
you very
for your
much.
Happens
support.
every
Appreciate
year,
it.
and I don't know why people even worry, because, I mean, we have to, but.
Oh, we
come
absolutely
through
have to,
every
yes.
year.
Thank you, thank you. Thank y'all very much.
Okay. All right, then we're going to move on to our personnel report. Board members, in your packets, you should have received the recommendations and the resignations for the 21-22 school year. Does anyone have a problem with doing that in open session? Okay, then I'm going to need a motion to approve those.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Ms. Robinson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second made by Mr. Guthrie. Any discussion? All in favor? 6-0. Okay, now we're going to move on to our committee reports. And the first one that we will have reporting out is going to be Ms. Ashley Wimberly with an update on the Dorchester District 2 Education Foundation.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes. So I am the new school board representative serving on the Educational Foundation Board. And I had the pleasure of attending my first meeting last week. And it was a great opportunity to meet their current board members and also to speak with Mr. Hayes, who was here earlier tonight accepting the check. I am very excited about serving on this board because they do bring so much value to our district. And so kind of in preparation for being on the board, I did a little research and thought I would just share with y'all some of the things that I found. You probably know a lot of this, but just kind of a did you know, because I found some of this information very helpful. But the foundation was founded in 2013, and it was created to bridge the gap between funding provided for a basic education from our state and local and federal dollars and the resources that we require to give our students a world-class education. As many of you know, we are very low on the list in order of the amount of funding we received, so this is important for us. The mission of the foundation is to build partnerships to support the advancement of education in our community. And I'm sure we can all agree those partnerships are extremely valuable. Since 2015, the foundation has awarded 36 grants across our district to support innovative STEM learning opportunities. And that many of you probably know students who have been positively affected by those grants, or if not students, even teachers. During the pandemic, the foundation donated hotspots to students and schools to ensure equitable access to learning and to lessen the digital divide. The foundation has partnered and collaborated with leaders across the Low Country to help the district implement an advanced manufacturing program with mechatronics. And some of those partnerships, just to mention a few, are with Bosch, ECPI University, Volvo, and the State Department of Education. They have also given money to support Project Lead the Way classes across the district, and these classes create engaging classroom environments through their pathways in computer science, engineering, and biomedical science. Students learn technical skills, how to solve problems, and to think critically and creatively. I know my own students have been in these classes, and they absolutely love them. They are very engaging. And just to hit you with a really big number here, since 2015, the foundation has given over $1.3 million back to our district. So again, I am very excited to be a part of this and to be able to bring back to you all the exciting things that they are doing and planning. One of those things that I'm going to mention tonight is a new thing that they are doing. It's called Moonlit Movies at Mckissick. And this is going to be their inaugural event, first time doing this. It's on Saturday, December 11th from 4 to 8 p.m. It's free. And I cordially invite you all to please attend, everyone here and also those watching at home. I will be there with my children. I am looking forward to it. They will have food trucks, and so purchases that you make from the food trucks will, a portion of those funds will come back, so they will raise some money that way. But again, the event is free. It's a great opportunity to have a fun family night, to get out and support our district and our community, and to even learn a little more about the foundation and meet some of the people who serve on that board. I can tell you right now, we have some very passionate and engaged parents and family members and community members who work really hard to make these events happen. So please join us.
Thank you, Ms. Wimberly. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Ms. Wimberly? No? Thank you very much for that update. Okay, next update that we have on committee reports is Ms. Robinson, and she'll be updating us on the Southern Magnolia Event Group.
Well, thank you. And I have even more good news. So what Ms. Wimberly started on with the movies would not have even happened if it wasn't for the committee that I have been asked by the chairman and elected to by SMEG. It is a group. I am the only female in there, but they accept me. But it is a group of men. It is this is a great partnership. A town councilman, a county councilman, some man that just does it all. I'll introduce you to him in a minute. Our superintendent attended the meeting, which was so heartfelt to see him there. Myself, a principal, and an athletic director. And so it's a bunch of movers and shakers, and they have already accomplished so much in less than a year. If anybody has been to Somerville High School Stadium, you see it. I mean, even children have noticed it, and children don't always notice things like that. And I just didn't want to be the one to report because they've done the work. I'm the newbie. So I asked them to tag team, and we're going to have Jimmy Tupper, the guy that does everything that I was telling you about, and Brian Rutherford, our athletic director at Somerville High, to come and share some good things that are going on.
Thank y'all for having us here tonight. It was actually about a year and almost 2 years ago now, we started the process of this whole event. Since then, we've gotten the turf, we put in the new LED lights, new speaker system, new computer system, and updated the Jumbotron, new fencing around, the new statue for Coach Mckissick and Miss Mckissick will be here. Now it got moved to April, and since then, we've raised, it's right around $1.1 to $1.2 million to renovate that stadium, which is pretty awesome amount of time we've done it. And the good news is we made our last purchase. I put the PO in. It's going to go in tomorrow for the new scoreboard to go in, and that'll be the last thing we have to buy inside that stadium. And so we are done with that project and moving on to something better. But I just want to give a recap of what's been happening inside the stadium besides what we've been raising money, why we're raising money. First was the Dorchester County Showdown, which had all 4 high schools in our county there, and probably 8,000 people showed up for that event. We've had 15 football games. 1 youth football game was never allowed there now, and hopefully more next year. We're working with Shack right now, and they're having a wrestling tournament this weekend. Actually, the Presbyterian College and Citadel are having their conference match outdoors at our stadium. And there's 7 other high schools coming to visit and have dual matches against Somerville, and it's called the Low Country Brawl, which Darryl Tucker, Brian Rutherford, and Brian Collier put it together. So it's going to be a huge event this weekend that's outdoors. So hopefully the weather holds up, and we'll have 4 mats set on the field and announcers there and everything. It's going to be pretty extreme for something that's never happened in South Carolina. We've heard of it years ago, it happening at App State, and we ran with it from then, and so far everybody's jumped on board and is very excited. So that's one thing with Shack. Then the Rotary Club has donated their clock. It'll be here in 2 to 3 weeks. And then the band event that got mentioned earlier tonight, and the foundation movie night. So far, in less than we opened it in August, We've already got 4 other groups that are using the field besides just Somerville High School, and that's what it was built for. So I really want to thank all of y'all for believing us to do it, first of all, and then the second is the town and the county and all of our sponsors. And I want to turn it over to Brian. Since we're almost done with the stadium, we would like to move on to another project he wants to bring up.
What SHAC stands for.
Oh, Somerville High School Athletic Club.
And again, I want to thank the school board for trusting us as a group, a little over a year ago to put this project together and make it come to fruition. I don't know who's going to say. Thank Jimmy Tupper as well for really being a driving force behind getting the plan together, gathering and raising the money, and also making sure it was spent and appropriately, that the construction was conducted appropriately. We really have a first-class football field out there. And really, with the addition of the new scoreboard, it'll be a first-class stadium. None like it in South Carolina for sure. And then again, to recap all the community events out there, the community events is a big part of why we were all okay with kind of pursuing this. To build community, we got to have places and events for them to come to and build culture around. And we hope that as information gets out about how to use the stadium, we get more and more creative ideas, and we really see that place kind of filling up. One of those creative ideas, we've been kind of trying to wrap our mind around the old district office. We have a historic structure on that property that's adjacent to the stadium. And just in conversation after conversation, we've been kind of searching what's a way that we can involve it in Friday night football. And I think, what I'd like to propose to the school board is that we make that an alumni center, that we integrate into Friday night football games for Somerville High School alumni. We've got more than enough stuff between the community and things at our high school that we could outfit that place to really be a building that folks that graduate from Somerville High School, whether they still live in the community or they're traveling from afar just to catch a football game, can walk through and re-experience the pride that they felt as a Green Wave growing up. The arrangement that we've kind of talked about is the school district just allow us to use the building. SMEG and Mr. Tupper would take on the setup of the memorabilia and making sure that it's a hospitable environment for people to visit. And then our SHAC group, Somerville High Athletic Club group, would handle the management of it. So we would basically solicit volunteers from the group to help open the Alumni Center up on Friday nights, an hour before the game into maybe 30 minutes into the game. And then hopefully, as that process evolves with the management of it, we could also open it for events like the Flowertown Festival or maybe like the Italian Festival to draw some more people to come to our town and celebrate what it means to be from Flowertown to the Pines. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Very, very good reports. Okay, we're going to move on now to our unfinished business. And under unfinished business, I have the SCSBA's delegates for the 2021 Delegate Assembly. If you are interested in attending that and have not yet notified Ms. Smith, if you would please do that, because we do have to have these turned in by November the 15th, who the delegates are going to be. So if you could please let her know as soon as possible so that we can get that delegate form filled out and get it turned in to them, that would greatly be appreciated. So, okay. And we do have one other thing before we move on to our public comments. And I told Mr. Pye that I was going to bring it up, and I am going to bring it up. I'm going to mention it, but then I'm going to turn it over to him and let him explain it because he, just as he chokes on his water over here. We do have an event coming up that's going to be held at our district office, and I am going to allow him to go into the details and explain that and make sure that everybody knows what's going on and everybody is invited. So, Mr. Pye?
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you for picking that up because that was one of my lead items I was going to mention earlier and I missed it totally. And I'm right there where all this is happening and been very involved with it. The Somerville Preservation Society approached us some time ago that they were coming up with a historic marker presentation they wanted to do. They want to put a marker out in front of the original district office commemorating Somerville High School on one side and Coach John Mckissick on the other side. And that's totally their board, their way of thinking. They just wanted to be able to have a presentation in the auditorium, and we are going to be having our auditorium available for them on this Sunday at 3 o'clock. It will be open. We may be using a portable technical sound system because we don't have the stuff in yet for your program, and if we hope we can do it live stream, but if not, it will be videoed. Matt and his group, we've got to talk to you about that. So we have a backup, and it will be immediately put on our website that afternoon, later that day, and then the public will have a chance, those who missed it, come from other parts of the country. We're going to open the building up for tours. Those who his group wants to do that, to tour the building. Because I think he attended school there. I believe he indicated that. And many of his friends and members of the Preservation Society are former Somerville High graduates from that building. That those students, the last graduating class was in 1969 from there. So that includes a good many people in town. So we're excited about that. That will not be our official open house that we're going to have later with Ed Kahn and our architects and with the school board and with our school family to celebrate what we've done to the building and the history behind the building. And I will be mentioning that history of 1924 when that high school was built there and leaving in 69, how we then opened it up to Rollins Middle School where I actually taught, and then Rollins Elementary School, and then we had Rollins School of the Arts, and now the district office, the third district office since way back yonder in the early 1900s. And the first one is right there on the property that Mr. Tupper was mentioning. So we have the first one and the current one on the same piece of property. So this just ties that whole block together, and big things are happening. The park out front, that's been donated by, I can't think of the name of Kevin's company, Palmetto Landscaping. They offered to take it on. They're doing a wonderful job. We found several hundred bricks with students' names on it that were, I guess, a portable like sidewalk that they probably put in the sand out there, and it's long gone. So Kevin's group is going to put back in something there to get you to that gazebo. Has been painted and fixed up and lights put in it, and we can be able to use it for events and things. And the little sidewalk will go from the parking lot to there. And he's done a lot of stuff out there, and I think additional landscaping is still planned. It's the best it's ever looked, and it rivals, if not tops, the parks in downtown Somerville. So we got a great park in front of us there that was once like that when I came to Somerville, and I'm glad to see it restored. So good things. Stop by. This is a great chance to get a free look at something without having to go there for a hearing or something bad that you might foresee. It's just a fun afternoon, and I think they're going to leave there and go to the Preservation Society headquarters, which is the old town hall on Carolina Avenue, and they're going to do refreshments there. So that's his plan. At least that's the last one I had. So thank you all very much.
So that will be Sunday, November 14th at 3 p.m.
Madam Chair, can I ask, since we're talking about the district office, do we have an update when we will actually move in?
I was going to let Ms. Hughes do that. And Ms. Hughes, why don't you do that since you were going to do it?
Okay, that's fine. We have all plans to be there on November the 22nd. So our next board meeting will be held at the new district office, and the address, is this the address for it right here?
815.
815 South Main Street is the address. So if anybody needs the address to get there, but it will be in our new boardroom. So we're all excited to be able to finally get in there. And again, we may have a few things that we may be missing. We may have to ask that it be recorded and then put out there for people to watch.
Yes.
Don't know if we're going to be able to live stream it or not, but the thing is we're gonna be there and we're gonna be starting a whole new venture, so good things happening.
Thank you for asking that.
Okay, next on our agenda then is our public comments. And what is that last name there?
Chicolli?
Jeff Chicollet? Is that close? Okay.
First of all, thank you very much for the opportunity. And it is exciting to hear all the great news. I mean, what a great thing that's going on with the stadium. I'm excited to see everything that you guys get done with all that. That's pretty cool. I hate to, this is not a bad thing, but I mean, with all the good news, I mean, what I came to talk about tonight was my wife is, I'm actually employed with the transportation department, but my wife works at Ashley Ridge High School. I drive a special needs bus, Route S2. And I think everyone you'll find in the district that's involved with either driving or working with our special needs students love what they do. They fall in love with these kids. I've spoken with Ashley about this, and she's given me some good reports back, and I'm excited to see what takes place. But I think there's some employees we have in the district that have kind of fallen to the wayside, and that would be considered our at-will or the adult support folks that work with our special needs people in the district. My wife is one of those at Ashley Ridge. I would encourage you all, if you ever get a chance in a free moment, to go by one of the schools, any of the departments, and just ask if you can hang out for a little while, for about an hour, and see the love that these people have for these kids. It's amazing. They're paid $75 a day to do what they do. They don't get the little step raises that we get every year. Yes, they get benefits, but they don't make a whole lot of money. And what's been happening with all the COVID money and everything else is, and this is why I'm here, is I don't think we can, I don't know how long it's been since they've gotten an increase in their pay. However, I know at Ashley Ridge, I can't speak for some of the other schools, but I know they're short-staffed, and some of the teachers are being asked to come in and do their planning period and just be another body in that room. They can't really do anything because they're not certified to do it, but they do their planning, and they're paying them an additional $30 a day to do that. And word has gotten out to some of those employees across the district that that's happening, and it's very discouraging. So I'm just here tonight to speak on their behalf. I know that's COVID money. I know that's something that you can't give to them, and I know they get benefits, but by the time you take the benefits and you take the money that you pay them during the summer, a lot of them are considering that don't need the benefits are looking at the substitute opportunity because those folks just got a raise. You know, so you have subs coming in that can't.
Thank you very much. Okay, here's another one. John Gacconi? Gaccioni. I was close. Had the end of it right.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank you for this time to speak. I'd like to look at some things here. These are some core values that I learned when I was younger, and I still live by them today. Our core values are honor, courage, and commitment. And saying that, that's from the Marine Corps. I'd like to wish all the Marines happy birthday on Wednesday and happy Veterans Day to all veterans out there. I was reading on a website today, and I want to read this to you. To provide all members of the district family with an environment that permits them to do their personal best. That word in there, family. I don't know, I look at family a little different when my family's there, or my friends that I consider family. I say you protect them. You take the good, the bad, the outbursts, the laughter, and the crying. But here, people seem to get a little emotional with that. They speak out, they get chastised, or other things happen. I don't think that's fair. I think a lot of the veterans, we did what we did because of the Constitution, the First Amendment. It's hard for me to look at you guys and you can take that away like that. Just stop speaking, shut off the mic, send them away. You know, when you send one away, more come back. Problem gets bigger. Instead of trying to find a solution for the problem, we try to shut it up. Whether that's your intent or not, that's what's coming across. That's not why we put you in the position that you're in today. We put it in there because of what you stood for on your platform, what it meant to our children as you as our board members, what their future was going to be like, what their education was going to be like. We're a community. That's on that same website. We stand united, do we? We all know we have issues. There's issues in the world with everything. But if we stood together and maybe tried to find solutions to the problems, instead of making them go away, we can make more headway. Somebody said today, transparency. We do value transparency, everybody does. Not just on a financial report so we know nobody's cheating, big government ain't taking over, and people are spending money frivolously on things we don't need for our education. But your values should be transparent to us as the public. What you believe in, what your discussions are behind closed doors should be out here. Maybe when you get your new conference room, you could bring as many people in there and get some opinions, honest opinions on what's going on, with maybe a little clapping or standing because they agree, not because they want to start a revolution. But transparency needs to be all the way around, not on one particular subject. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next up is Jordan Hall.
I have two things that I'm very happy to hear tonight, for sure. It's rare, but I'm very happy to hear that the South Carolina School Board Association did pull from the NSBA, because we've been waiting for that. And I hope that that makes some kind of pull in the decisions that this board made with certain individuals here. I'm also very happy it was brought up about Veterans Day. I was concerned about that. And Mr. Farnsworth, thank you for your service as well. As you all know, this Thursday is Veterans Day, when we honor all of our veterans who have served at home and abroad, fighting for our freedom all across the world. Restaurants and retailers will give discounts and free meals to veterans in their service. There will be parades, ceremonies celebrating our brave men and women. Hopefully, there will be teachers who will speak about Veterans Day and the men and women who serve their families and teach our children how important it is to honor and for those who have served and who are serving. With all of that going on this week, you all, as a board, are still choosing to sit there and target a combat veteran and his family, who is my husband, Philip Paul. I am also a veteran. I served in the United States Air Force. I was an F-16 weapons loader. We sit here as you guys still choose to target and diminish our family, all because Phil challenged you all and called you out in your inconsistencies. Both my husband and I served along with millions of others, so you all can sit here and be free to have your opinion and to have your choice. Without an ounce of care or compassion, and continue to take away my husband's basic freedom to be able to show up and speak on behalf of our children, and especially for the new building that you'll be going to in the next board meeting, even though one of your taxpayers can't attend that. The ugly side of a combat veteran are nightmares. He has of things that he can never unsee, fighting in Iraq, Afghanistan, and all over the world, and every American. And I can promise you, I've heard the stories. In the no trespass letter to my husband, you referenced harassing children, and I know that anyone that knows my husband knows the passion he has for children because he has seen children at their absolute worst. Worst conditions, even unimaginable. Again, I have unfortunately had to sit through these stories. He prays for these children very often, almost every single night before he goes to bed. None of you know my husband and his love for this country and our family like I do, and he wanted me to pass this along. While he disagrees with this other side on different debates we are currently having, he would also like to fight for their voices and would never want anyone treated the way you all have chosen to treat him. He would fight for all sides. That's a big part of who he is. We as a family will always stand for our flag and kneel before our cross. And remember, we are only free because we live in the land of the brave. And also one more small part. I hope you all as board members remember that because you need to all the time.
Thank you very much. Okay, I guess that ends our board meeting. So a very good, Ms. Rayner, is there something that?
Turn in the card.
Yeah, I don't have one. Okay. Okay, he is one of our partners, so, Mr. Davis, do you want to come up and?
Just a quick update. First off, Ms. Rayner's passing out two small stories about two DD2 students and their experience at the career school. I want to thank you all for your partnership with us, Madam Chairman, board members, Superintendent Pye. Just a couple career school opportunities to tell you on what's going on in October. We're serving 641 Dorchester County students every day now. Over 60% of those students are from DD2. DD2's closest campus on Trolley Road has certified almost now 175 students on OSHA, healthcare, first aid, and industrial certifications. And as you're aware, every one of those is a tally mark for your school district and for the state and the feds. So we're glad to have that opportunity. The Trolley Road campus hosted a staff development luncheon for DD2 middle and high school counselors, and it was very well attended. Thank you all very much for allowing them to attend and for your participation in that. That goes a long way to tell them what's available there for their students. Our main campus last month hosted our Fall Business Partners Lunch. We hosted over 100 businesses that guide and advise us on our curriculum and also our state-of-the-art methods and technical methods that we teach with. We expect to have our logistics program. It looks like it will probably be next fall, but it will definitely be next fall, if not this spring, up and running. We have visited a model program in Rock Hill, and we will be modeling ours after that. We have a successful program that will work, and students will not only learn logistics, but they will serve. They will be working with a food bank to distribute food. So they'll be able to learn the logistics business and also serve the community. So we're really excited about that. We have several major local businesses who committed to partner with us. And our students continue to give community service. It's just unbelievable how the students rally around causes. This year this fall they'll be working on holding blood drives, stocking blessing boxes, working with Toys for Tots. And so the students also at the main campus helped one of the Ashley Ridge students finish his Eagle Scout project, and they built 18 picnic benches for the new Ashley River Park. So it's just great to partner with you all. Thank you for the wonderful students you send to us, and anything we can do to help you out, we're glad to. We've got one other small business item. When you get a chance, since Nadine has retired, we do need to have an ex officio member on our board from DD2 to represent you all. So when you get a chance, think about that, and we'd appreciate that.
Dr. Harrison, I'm sorry, evidently we failed to mention that when Nadine exited so quickly, but he took her place and plus some other jobs. So
great. Board meeting tomorrow night. It's actually tomorrow afternoon. We do ours early in the afternoon, so we won't expect that tomorrow. That's kind of short notice. But
he is over the career technology program, and he's doing magnificent things with that he could share And also, we're working on a logistics program. They sent us the documentation. Would we be supportive of it? Of course, we are. And we're trying to work with Jay on any kind of ways to up our enrollment in career technology programs. We are well over 8,000, and our programs are 600 there. So that's pushing us way up there. I'd like to say we're at least at 10. So there's a lot of room to grow. So I want us to explore some programs that maybe uniquely fit what you were trying to do there at the career school, may uniquely fit us. It may need to be off a satellite site, whatever, maybe try it, will let us do something
The
at their
county is
campus.
helping us with a land search for a bigger facility, so and it will be in this area, because this is our biggest need. Fort Dorchester kids don't need to travel all the way to Dorchester.
And if they were located closer in, you wouldn't have room for them.
We're working on it.
That's great news.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you all very much.
All right.
Thank you very much for the update, and thank you for the partnership. Okay, board members, I think that's it. Okay, I have a motion to adjourn, motion by Mr. Farnsworth, second by Mr. Guthrie. Any discussion? All in favor? 6-0. Thank you very much. Everybody have a great evening.